Nobody move.
Nobody gets hurt.
I'm Nick G.
I'm Mike D.
And this is Good Cop, Bad Cop. I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Pop McCann Whiskey, smoothest drink in the land. Grab your bottle today at popsmccannwhiskey.com. Also like to thank Friends of Martina White. Visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina has been doing as state representative of Pennsylvania. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Beyond Creative. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com or call 267-362-WEB1 to discuss your project. And our title sponsor, AR Law, arjusticenow.com. We fight so you don't have to. Adams Renzi Law. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet. You get military and first responders discount. That is Morrow Flooring. You can go to goodcopbadcoppodcast.com. Click on his link for more details. All right, welcome back to another show of Good Cop, Bad Cop Podcast. I'm Nick G.
I'm Mike D.
Mike D. We got a great show lined up in keeping with, I'm going to say our theme, but what we like to do here, we like to help and highlight the PTSD and mental health issues with our military vets, first responders. We have Matt Gators from Camp Freedom, PA. So what's the website? campfreedompa.org. Camp Freedom's a nonprofit organization, provides outdoor adventures for disabled veterans, first responders, take them hunting, fishing, camping, whatnot, which is very therapeutic, and he's helped out a lot of vets. You can go check out the website yourself, which is campfreedompa.org. Donate. Without your donations, we can't do that for our military vets and first responders. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Great.
Let me ask a question. I'm going to dig in now.
Shoot.
I got a lot of meat here on this bone. So Matt, right? Matt
G, if you
Matt
want.
G. Matt G.
Keep
Listen, so Matt.
That's Matt G.
Take me. I've never been there. Take me there. So where am I going?
So our property, we have 2,350 acres.
So who's our? Who's our?
Okay, Camp Freedom has 2,350 acres in northeast Pennsylvania. So we're like 20 minutes outside of Scranton. And it's one giant contiguous property. It goes from mountain to river bottom. We have 2 ponds, amazing ground. I have 880 acres, high fence. It really is just an outdoor playground.
Can I pitch a tent there and just hang out? Maybe
You can pitch a tent there if you want to. Absolutely, you can.
because by the way, I'm not even kidding, but not a tent. Fuck no tent. Maybe a camp or some heat, some TV. And
You need medication.
VCR, a VCR, not a VCR.
That's not the kind of camping you do there, right? You don't do no glamping.
No, we actually have a great lodge. That's unbelievable. It's really nice, and we just built a Gold Star family cabin. It's our first cabin of hopefully what will be 3,
Right.
and we're planning on building in the next 2 years. Where our plan is to build a gigantic lodge, event center, education center. It's going to be about 65,000 square feet because of the growth that we've had in just 7 years. It's unbelievable.
Wow, well, wait a minute. This is really serious now. I thought this was just a guy opened up his land and said, come on.
Mm-mm.
Oh, this is a real serious organization.
Yeah, in 7 years, we've hosted almost 13,000 guests, disabled vets and first responders from 47 states. I mean, it's really serious. And I always say I've got the greatest job in the world. I get to work with true American heroes, people who chose to run towards danger and through trauma and transition have just, found some difficult times. So I get to work every day with great people.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is really,
So why don't you-
I'm impressed. I really am. This is really cool.
Yeah, it's good. So why don't you take us back 7 years? How does this come about? Where do you start and why?
Yeah, so I have a friend, and he's the founder of Camp Freedom, and it's Bill and Laura Bockenberg are the founders of Camp Freedom. Bill and I met through my best childhood friend, and we built a friendship, and he kept telling me about this property that he had bought, and his vision was he really wanted to see this property give access to the outdoors to individuals with disabilities. He owns a sporting clay range called Lehigh Valley Sporting Clays. It's actually the largest sporting clay range in the country. They do about 6 million clays a year there. It's unbelievable. And he does days every single month for individuals with disabilities where it's free. He paved the entire property. Like, it's unbelievable. Through that, he recognized that a lot of individuals don't have access to the outdoors, and our state organizations don't necessarily do a great job of providing that. So he kept talking about it as we were building our relationship for a couple of years. I was living in Colorado, said there's no way I'm ever coming back east. Circumstances in life change sometimes. My kids wanted to come back here. They were in high school. They wanted to come back here for athletics, get better attention from colleges, which actually worked for them. And I said, all right, Bill, I'm considering coming back. If you will make this veterans and first responders, I'm in. And we had literally one discussion, and he said, when do you want to start? I said, how about January 1st? This was in 2017. I said, how about January 1st, 2018? And he said, all right, let's go. And literally that was the discussion. So I came up to the property, and at that time it was 1,792 acres. We bought another parcel since then, and we're actually going to keep trying to buy more ground. There's big pieces all around us, but it was 1,792 acres. It had a 1991 log home on it that was quite in disarray, So I came up there January 1st. My wife and I, one other friend, started tearing the place up, renovating the entire cabin. We did that, made it nice, but didn't spend a ton of money on it. We wanted to be really conservative because we knew someday, we'd move into a larger lodge. So we did it well, did it nice, built that out, 4 months worth of work. We started working on the grounds outside because they were in neglect also. Nobody had taken care of anything. And we got to the fall, and that first fall, I went to my board and I said, hey, I really want to bring guests. And they're like, are we ready for guests? I said, no, we're not ready for guests, but we are ready for guests.
So 10 months of prep. 10 months of prep before your first guests even come. Yeah.
I said this to our board. I said, here's what I know. We know how to love people. We know how to honor them, even if they've made some less than honorable decisions. And we know how to value them and teach them that they still have value after they get out of law enforcement, after they get out of the military, after they get out of whatever their journey has been. We'll teach them that they still have value. And if we do that through peer-to-peer interaction, it'll turn into camaraderie. We'll wrap it around an outdoor adventure, and our men and women will find hope, purpose, and mission again. Wow. And so that first fall, we entered with that as a plan. That was all we had. And we brought 49 guests in, and it was amazing. Like, I watched lives that first fall get rescued, and I always come back to one individual in that first fall. So we had a young man.
Well, it takes us one.
Yeah, we had this individual that first fall. His name's Kyle, and Kyle was a Navy vet, was medically discharged. Great kid, but he came up to pitch to me the idea of doing a Jeep event on the property. And while he's talking to me, I'm like, yeah, this kid's using drugs. No doubt about it. He's using drugs. So I said, Kyle, why don't you come back tomorrow? You're mechanically inclined. I'm not great at it. I got to do some work on our UTVs. I could use some help. And he said, okay, when? I said, 8. And I honestly thought when he left, I'd never see him again. And he was there at 8 in the morning. So at 8 in the morning, we're working on these UTVs. He's helping me. And I said, Kyle, you're using drugs. I said, probably opioids. What's your story? And he said, I am. He said, it's bad. He said, it's all prescription. He said, but I lie, I cheat, I steal, I lie to my parents. I do whatever it takes to get more. I tell the doctor my pain level's a 10 when it's a 2. I'm caught. And he's like, I said, well, do you want to stop? And he said, I do. And I said, I'll tell you what, today's a great day. I said, if you will make a commitment, for 30 days, give me your keys and you're not leaving this property. It's your choice. But when you hand me those keys, understand the only way you're leaving is walking, because we're not taking you off of this property. But if you'll commit to 30 days,
it's fine.
I'll put a blow up mattress. We weren't even complete yet. I said, I'll put a blow up mattress on the lower level of the lodge and we'll take care of you. And he said, okay, and handed me his keys. It was mind blowing. But fast forward 2 weeks from that day, and so he'd been there 2 weeks. I'm getting interviewed by a local newspaper, and the journalist says to me, he says, hey, do you have any guests? And Kyle was sitting in the living room. He said, come here for a minute. Would you like to talk to this journalist? And he said, sure. And so he's sitting down talking to the journalist, and this is what struck me. Kyle says to this guy, and I did not know this till this moment. He said, yeah, 3 days before I came here, I had my pistol loaded in my mouth.
Wow.
that was shocking, but not shocking. I had already encountered that at that point, through other people and relationships we had and friendships I had. But then this is what really set the table kind of for my mindset. And it really told me where we were going. Because then his next statement was this, and I even failed at that.
I had
And so his
saving-
greatest decision ever to not pull the trigger, he viewed as just another failure in a line of failures in his life since he got out of the military.
Yeah.
And that just opened my mind up to how dark it gets and how bad it can get when we isolate, add in drugs and alcohol. It's going to run us to desperation every time.
So we started this interview off. We didn't ask you, what did you do? What was your profession before you became leader of Camp Freedom or part of Camp Freedom?
I graduated from a college in Pennsylvania back in '91, Dickinson College. I went into the military. I went into the Army, did 3.5 years as an Army officer, an artillery officer, got out of the Army, went to seminary. And so I went to seminary and I've been planting churches and pastoring for the last 30 years. But I love business. So I've always had side businesses because you don't make any money pastoring to provide for my family. So I always had side hustles. And one of them was in the hunting industry, which I still have today. I have a business called Journey Hunts, and I take people hunting all around the world. That is why Bill and I got together. It was built around hunting.
Okay.
And so
They hunt at you. Do they hunt at your lodge?
oh man, do we hunt at the lodge?
Is it part of the? Is it part of the?
This year we free 4-day one-on-one guided hunts for 25 disabled vets and first responders. And it's incredible hunting. It's unbelievable. And to fund that, I did another 19 what we call donor hunts, where men and women can buy, or the corporation can buy a hunt, make a donation and get a hunt in return for elk, whitetail, or red stag that we have in our 880-acre high fenced area. So that's how I pay for all the free hunts, because everything we do, not just the hunts, everything we do for vets and first responders is completely free.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Now
You're a hell of a guy, Matt.
I'm really
I've just been blessed, man.
blown
It's
away.
unbelievable.
Man. I'm blown away. You know why? You do one. So you'll know this. You do one right thing, the next right thing follows after it, and that's really how it begins. And I had we'll share a little experiences, and Nick knows a little bit about this. Is because of my persona, let's just say, and what happened to me, what I've been through in my life. Of course, it's negative, a lot of it, but there's a lot of good that comes from negative shit, right? You got this guy that's, he's on hope. He's sick. You see this guy, he's sick. He's sick. He's a human being. Do I let him rot and die, or do I just give him a hand, right? And what that does is it changes everybody's perspective. Now this guy here says, someone cares about me, I matter.
Yeah.
And this guy, by calling him, you call him,
Yeah, it's pretty ballsy.
right? You don't know, these guys are crazy. Right? Let's be honest. They can be crazy. You got a military guy there
On
who's
drugs.
had a gun in his mouth the day before or 2 days ago. It's such a powerful position of a feeling when you can change the course of someone's life. I have 3 very close friends today. One of them, the Blue Magazine, you're probably not familiar with it. Maybe you are. I don't know. They're based in New Jersey. Danny runs it. I called a friend up who lives in Scranton, Pennsylvania, okay, who lived out there in Nebraska. Called him up. I was invited to a retreat, a police retreat, mental health retreat in northern New Jersey and in the woods somewhere, okay? I don't want to go, okay? I don't really want to go. It's a long ride from I call my buddy up. He goes, yeah. I go, fuck. Now I gotta know, right? I mean, once I open my mouth, I'm in, right? He comes to the thing. I hadn't seen him in 6 months. He looked a little off. Another guy came with me. So 2 cops came with me. Well, he's retired corrections. The other guy was Nassau County cop. They both came with me. I'm there I'm just doing public service, right? These are my friends. I'll bring them to the location. I'm sick, so just so you know. Anyway, he tells me I was going to throw myself in front of a truck to kill myself. And he's rich, successful, intelligent, handsome. He's got everything you and I want to be. He's on a mountain in Pennsylvania with 40 acres. He's got 12 dogs. He's got a beautiful wife. He wanted to throw himself in front of a Mack truck. He said that would be the easiest way for him to go. So he was planning his own death. I get another call from a guy. I was in a joint with this fella. He calls me up. You know the story. He says, call my cousin, please. I go, he goes, he's an ex-cop. He got jammed up. He got a little bit of trouble, nothing major, but da-da-da-da. Could you give him a call? I call the guy up. He goes, Mike, I had the gun in my mouth and my son walked in the room yesterday. He said, and the reason I didn't kill myself because I didn't want my son to see it. He says, I had a note on the desk and the gun in my mouth. My son walked in the room. I put the gun back in my fucking desk. I closed the desk. He says, and you called me today. He said, so that's the course of life. The guy's a wonderful person. Today, you would never even think that he had that in his mind. So yes, and I love that you can, I'm very fucking passionate about this because people don't understand that bad guys, me, bad cop, can really make a difference in other people's lives if you just take the step. You know, and I just, it's so heartwarming to hear this. It's really heavy for me. This is really touching me. I really love this. It's beautiful.
So I got a question for you, Matt. So what happened? What's up with Kyle today?
Well, that's what I was going to say. The rest of the story is quite cool. So Kyle did his 30 days, and I asked him, hey, you got to stay another 30, man. He was still, shaking a little bit, still had some symptoms going on. So he stayed for 60. At the end of 60, I offered him a volunteer position. He stayed for 6 months. After 6 months, I hired him, and he worked for me for 1.5 years as a groundskeeper.
Right.
And now he's back out in life. He has a great job. He's getting married. He has a house. Still clean. It's just awesome, And the sad part, here's the sad part that comes with the good part. I wish you could never hear another story like that.
Oh.
But I can't tell you how many stories just like that we've been able to be involved in the last 7 years. And here's the thing, too. You're talking about your friend and, gun in the mouth and good guy and all of that. There's such a stigma that comes with PTSD, which, by the way, I don't even like the D because disorder brings permanence. I like saying injury, PTSI, that it's an injury because there can be healing. There is hope. But here's the thing is good people still make some bad choices. And just because, look, I made plenty of bad choices. I've made plenty of bad choices. And the reality is we all do. And the problem is when you're making a choice, when it comes to taking your own life, it's a very permanent choice for temporal problems.
Right.
But I've met so many great people who become my friends who were in that scenario. I mean, they were right there, gun on the table, gun in their hand, gun in their mouth, making the thought processes, writing the letters, it's all. It doesn't make them a bad person.
Right.
It makes them a person who's been impacted by trauma. And the second half, man, we started, I didn't even know this was really a major problem. But when men and women get out of the military or when they get out of law enforcement and everything changes, transition is tough, man.
Yeah.
And we deal with as many men and women who are struggling after they got out to find purpose, hope, and mission again, as we do with trauma. And we just, we're faced with difficult choices sometimes.
I lost a friend New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
He's no longer with us. And, I wish I knew he was hurting as bad as he was.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and that's something you said too, did you say you didn't know he was hurting as bad as he was?
Yeah.
The guys who don't say anything are the ones who really get me worried because you only find out when it's too late.
It's too late.
I mean, really, it's rough.
So I'm in Mariana, Florida, in federal prison, right? I'm doing my time. And I did a lot of volunteer shit in prison that people do to stay busy and to be a community guy, right? Just like at your lodge, there's community people. They do what they can. They help. So I had a lot of pen pals because Mike Waller, I was on 60 Minutes and Barbara Walters. So I had a lot of pen pals from around the country. So I'm writing somebody in, let's just say, Romania, cute girl. Anyway, I'm writing some cute girl in Romania. And all of a sudden I hear bang, 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 like this shot's like bang, bang, bang. I'm like, what the fuck? I look out, I see a bunch of guys in front of my cell door, right? And they're Spanish guys, right? Now, prison's very racial. Spanish, white, black. Spanish is usually with the white, but not always. So you got this guy. They got him by his feet. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Right in front of my cell. Now, I can't justify sitting in my cell while some guy's getting beat up in front of my cell, because someone will eventually say to me, why didn't you stop him? Why didn't you help him, right? So I open the door, I go out, and there's this guy hanging from the guys were too short. They couldn't lift him. Those guys are short. They tend to be shorter, right? They couldn't lift them, but it looked like they were pulling them. But they were just trying to lift him up to get he had the noose around his neck. He jumped over the railing. Now, I get out. I'm able to help lift him because I'm a little taller. We get the noose. We drop him on the floor. Anyway, he lives. In the meantime, his wife's on the phone at that time calling the prison. My husband is going to kill himself. Wow. They're like, yeah, sure. Meanwhile, he's hanging over the fucking railing. Okay, go, step forward. I become I'm on the suicide watch program. So when someone commits suicide, they have to be watched, just like prison. You got to watch, just like prison. But just like if you walk into a prison. So in prison, you get suicide watch. I was a suicide watch guy. The next morning, I'm going there. Now, I really have no love for this guy because he was annoying as fuck, okay? He was 58 years old. His girlfriend was 28, okay? She was leaving. Goodbye, right? Gorgeous, right? He was old 58 too, right? So I'm looking at him through the cell because that's my job. Sit there watching. I'm bored looking at him. He's sleeping. He wakes up, rolls over, looks up at me. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? He doesn't even know who I am. I'm in his tier. I saved his life, technically, whatever. And he looks up at me. I go, so, what gives, I go, what happened? 'Cause I know what I saw. I don't know what happened with him. He goes, I couldn't even kill myself right. He says, but here's the caveat. He says, because I changed my mind on the way down.
Oh, jeez. That's what they usually say.
I changed my mind on the way down. After he jumped, he changed his mind. So he was flailing because he wanted him to try to get help to stop killing himself. So thankfully, I was able to stop petting that girl in Romania and go outside and pet him. But the point is that I got to see, and not everybody gets this opportunity. One, I took him off the rope, and two, I saw him the next morning to have a conversation with him. And he told me, I changed my mind. So I'm convinced that if one person changed his mind and lived to talk about it, there might have been millions that are in the same, might be millions, because think about it. The guy puts a gun in his mouth. How many times the guy misses? How many times did you hear a story? The guy goes to shoot himself in the head, he misses. I've heard it dozens of times, okay? Because I was in a lot of these psych programs throughout the years. I'm in the PD program, psych program too, don't kid. I had that straightened out real quick. They called it the farm. I wish I had a 2,800 acre farm to go to. Fuck, I would have stayed there. They took a job up there. But anyway, this is amazing. This is fucking amazing.
Where do you get most of your funding from?
Yes.
Yeah, we literally raise it all, and so like last year, I get really excited when I talk about the numbers because the metrics of who comes. Like this year, we've had over 3,000 guests, so over 3,000 disabled vets, first responders. Yeah, their family members and Gold Star families in a year. That's exciting. But here's what's really cool is there's a lot of bad rap in nonprofit organizations and veteran organizations, and some of it's justifiably so. Mm-hmm. But this last year, we raised like 5.4 million. Now, some of that was specifically for our building project, so it was designated 3 million for that. But we raised that money, and we operate at 2% this past year administrative cost. When you own 2,350 acres and have $1 million of equipment, and we're that lean.
98% goes towards the pro.
And that's a big jump. We've been staying right at about 95%. And it actually got better, so I'm excited about that.
70% would be amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
98% unbelievable.
Yeah. And we're thrilled because, we know we're doing everything we can. And people need to know that when they support us financially, your money's going where we say it's going to go. It's going to the bottom line. It's going to the men and women who need it. We have a staff of 11. And I should have a staff of 40, honestly, to run the grounds and do what we do. But
Right.
here's another amazing thing is we're over 30,000 hours in 7 years of volunteer hours. Our volunteers are all in, man. Like they love it. They come there. And a lot of our vets and first responders, they just come and volunteer and that's their
Sure.
medicine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're around
you
the
know?
guys, the girls, they're around the environment. It's a nice
So-
environment.
We were talking before, and you told me that you have them write out a questionnaire when they first arrive, and then when they leave, the same questionnaire, right? Can you
Yeah,
tell me that?
Yeah, we do. We have it's actually a medical questionnaire, and all we do is we give it to them. It's anonymous. So that's for our extended stays. Our extended stays are 4-day stays, like our hunts. So
Okay.
we give it to the men and women when they come on day 1. We give it to them again on the end, day 4. It is amazing the difference of what goes on in just 4 days. It's also amazing when you give them that paper again 6 months and a year later, how it's lasted. Because it's kind of, what my assistant executive director, Jamie Bird, Jamie came to us several years ago as a guest. He's a 13-year Coast Guard veteran. He was medically discharged. He had a terrible training exercise, broke his neck,
Damn.
ended up stroking out as a result of it. And really, he was in a halo, had really bad stuff. Didn't think he was going to recover. Is completely recovered and is just an amazing guy. But he came as a guest. And when he was there as a guest, I said, Jamie, I don't know how and I don't know when, but you're going to work here. I need you here. I need your expertise. I need your experience. I need what you've got. And so Jamie, 2 years later, I called him. I had this couple came to camp and the guy's father was a World War II vet. And he said, my father recently passed away. I want to do something significant. And I want to know, what is your greatest need? Just met him. And he just laid that out to me.
Wow.
And I said, do you really want to know what my greatest need is?
Wow.
And he said, yeah. He said, I do. I want to know what your greatest need is. I said, but my greatest need is not what you or any other donor ever wants to hear.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, my greatest need is I need a salary. I've got a guy that I need. He works at Cabela's. He's the HR director. He does well to take care of his family. I need a salary to take care of him because we need him here. I need that kind of administration and experience here because we're dealing with scenarios where we it's life and death, frankly.
Literally.
And you can't have mistakes, And so he looked at me and said, all right. He said, how much do you need? I told him. And he said, if you can get it matched, he said, I'll do it. I picked up the phone, called our founder, Bill Bockenberg, Bill and Laura again, most generous. There's no Camp Freedom without them. Most generous people I've ever met in my life. I said, Bill, I've got this situation. He knew about Jamie. He knew I wanted him. I said, I got him, but I need this matched. I need a salary for a second-year match. He said, done. I called Jamie. This is a cool story, too. I called Jamie and said, Jamie, you ready to go? He's like, I'm ready. I'll give my 2-week notice. He calls me back 2 days later. So he gives us 2-week notice. Cabela's comes back to him and says, I'll tell you what, we'll promote you and make you the regional director of HR. They offered him a salary, 65 grand above what I can pay him.
Right.
And he said, no, he said, I know where I need to be. And so he's been with us ever since, I think for over 3 years now. And so that's part of the team. And we've got this incredible team and our whole team has different skill sets, different abilities, but we all know that cares first. So the money is managed right. Everybody knows it's the people first. It's care first above everything we can. And men and women need to know that, man, because I can't get over how many people aren't loved or don't believe that they're loved, don't believe that they're cared for, don't believe there's any hope anymore, don't believe that they have a purpose or a mission anymore. And we just help to reset that.
Man, that's fantastic. I'd like to thank our sponsors today, Martina White. Friends of Martina White can visit votemartina.com for more information about the work Martina's been doing as a state representative in Pennsylvania. And let me tell you, Mike, she's a big supporter of police. She backs the blue. She's a proven fighter for families, women, everybody.
Is she a patriot? Is she America first?
Absolutely. She encompasses, the American spirit for sure. We have a big population of listeners in Northeast Philadelphia, Southeast Pennsylvania, which would be her area. So you can check her out.
Has she been in? I'm not familiar with the Philly district. Is she new to the scene, or is she, looking for re-election?
She'll be up for re-election in a couple years, but she's been around for a while. She has a proven track record.
Okay.
You can check her out. her record really speaks for itself, especially when it comes to fighting for everyday citizens and backing the blue.
It's nice to have someone back in the blue. I mean, the officers are out there risking their lives every day, and with little pay and little appreciation in today's environment, it's been very difficult. And as you know, being a Philadelphia guy,
Unfortunately, it's something that's not common. Should be. It used to be a time where both sides of the aisle agreed on law enforcement, and it's something that's completely lacking. But with Martina White, she steps up to the plate, always has our backs, and does what's right.
great. Good luck with Martina.
Yeah, you can get more information at votemartina.com. I'd like to thank our title sponsor of the show, Adams Renzi Law, AR Law. They can be found at arjusticenow.com. And just to let you know, I know both of them personally. Christy, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, total sweetheart, absolute pit bull in the courtroom. And Nick Renzi, he's a South Philadelphia guy, true and true, neighborhood man. You know, he's for the people. He helps people out down in South Philly, all around Philadelphia.
Their offices in South Philly itself?
Yes, their office in right around South Philly, Center City, right on the
Do
border.
they handle
there.
a lot of criminal cases?
They handle everything, absolutely.
Are they on call 24/7 for someone who might take a pinch somewhere?
Why, you might be taking
Well,
a pinch
I mean,
that we know about?
you never know. I mean, wherever you show up, you got to be ready.
Well, you can keep their card on you.
Well,
Or
there
go
you
to
go.
their
Well,
website
well,
and
good,
call
good.
them up.
Will they give me a deal since they're sponsors of the show?
You might get a percentage off. I'll have to talk to her.
Okay. Yeah.
If you used them a few years ago, you might have not have gotten 14 years.
Well, that's another story.
Another story for another time.
That's right.
Again, AR Law, check them out. arjusticenow.com. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Beyond.0. In today's world, your business is practically invisible if you're not online. With so many options for marketing your business, it's easy to get confused. That's where Beyond.0 Creative steps in. They have the expertise to help you with all of your marketing needs. Need a website that wows visitors? They'll build it. Want to reach more customers with Google Ads? They'll make it happen. They'll even manage your social media so you can focus on what you do best. Beyond.0 Creative is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and Google Premier Partner. They're the real deal. If you're ready to take your online presence to the next level, visit beyondocreative.com. That's BIONDOCREATIVE.com or call 267-362-WEB1, Web 1, to discuss your project now. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Morrow Flooring, hardwood, laminate, vinyl, tile, and carpet, military first responder discount. You know, Tommy, we had him as a guest on a podcast. You can get your flooring done by a real American hero.
Yeah, and he's on time and on budget.
Yes, he is. He will beat any price. Bring a quote, an estimate, whatever you have. Tommy will beat it. 100% guaranteed. You have our backing on that one.
And he'll be there himself.
Absolutely. You can get a real American hero do your flooring for you. What's it like for their first day? They fill out the questionnaire. What are they doing after that? Because I know there's.
I'll walk you through the hunt. I'll go through a 4-day extended hunt. So they come in that first afternoon. They come in a Monday afternoon after 2:00. We have them sign in, register them, sign all the paperwork, waivers, the whole thing. You know, you got to do it all. It's legal. You got to do it. It's also a protection of our future, and we always have to keep that in mind. You know, we do all that. We get them sighted in on whatever their firearm or their bow and arrow or their crossbow, whatever they're using. We get together that night with just usually pizza that first night. It's the only non-home cooked meal we do, but we bring in local New York style pizza. It's awesome. And we have some great pizza. And then we give them a brief of what the week's going to be. We talk about the week. We talk about every single day. One of the things I've learned is that our men and women are really in need of details. Like they are coming and they're nervous. Some are scared. Some are leery of being there, even though they came. Many of them tell me I was driving and was going to turn around. I didn't even want to come, you know?
Sure.
And so we lay out the whole week, detail by detail, minute by minute. Here's what it's going to be. And I just watch everybody that night get set at ease and sit around and talk, go to bed. We wake up the next morning, have an unbelievable breakfast, hunt the morning, come in and have an incredible lunch, hunt the afternoon, come in and have even better dinner. And everything's set from there.
I'm ready.
Hey, I went from this fall we did 13 weeks of hunts. I gained 27 pounds in 13 weeks.
I don't know. Aren't you? I get out there.
I'm telling you, like kings. But here's what we want to convey right down to our meeting. We want to convey you're an American hero.
Yeah.
You chose to sign the dotted line, whether it's law enforcement,
Right.
whether it's fire, whether it's EMT, whether it's military. You said, I'm going to run towards
Yeah.
danger.
Yeah.
You're a hero in my
Yeah.
book already.
Yeah.
And so I want to give you the best of everything we have, the best food, the best opportunity, the best everything, the best hunt, the best shooting experience, the best hiking experience, fishing. It doesn't matter what we're doing.
Right.
I want it to be the best because I want you to, we think you're the best.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have vets there with missing limbs and really screwed up, and they're able
Yeah,
to
we
hunt.
everything. I mean, we have amputees, we have people who are struggling mentally, physically. I mean, we put no limitations. Our transportation is set up, our lodge is set up so that we can handle just about anything. And we'll do what it takes. You know, I remember John, I had this guy, John, come in, double amputee Army guy who came in, and I remember one night he was getting ready to take a shower. And I always tell the guys, our hot water's hot. Like, you got to watch. It's, and he comes scooting out of the bathroom. He's
Right?
has his legs off, and he comes scooting out of the bathroom. It's too hot, you know. We just have everything. You know, he's a great guy. He's still a friend to this day. But we make everything very comfortable, very homey. You know, there's nothing uptight.
That's
And
great.
and that peer-to-peer interaction, the moment they trust, it turns into camaraderie. You guys know.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're running towards danger with a group of guys, man, it's different than anything else you do in your life. It just is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying
It's, yeah.
different level. Of
No one
relation-
knows what that is until they've done it.
Now, did you serve in the military?
Yeah,
I
three-
did Army, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
You're in the artillery.
yep, artillery.
What years were you in?
I was in 91 to the end of 94.
Were you in the
Iraq?
first Iraq
Kuwait?
invasion?
I
Nope.
was in during that time, but we didn't
Didn't
go.
go.
No, we
Okay.
didn't go. So I have no combat service at all.
Right. So, well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you know where these guys are coming from being in the military and what they need are. So when you got out, I guess you were a young kid. Did you find it difficult to transition?
Yeah, I didn't. When I got out, I had a plan. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I was
You had
going.
support. You have support.
And I did. I had a great family. I was newly married. My wife she's the best in the world. I mean, she has literally built this with me from day one.
Wow.
She has been there in the grind.
I heard you say
every day.
4 months, you, your wife, and one other person redid that
Yeah.
whole cabin inside. Yeah.
I mean, everything from tearing flooring out to all. I mean, she's done it all
It's
with
not
me.
harmony. That makes, when you can do things like that with a woman,
So how many?
She's still, this is the first year, up until this year, she has done all the cooking.
Wow.
This is the first time where we got her some help. We're getting older. And she's like, hey, can I get a little help with the cooking in the morning? I was like,
oh, that
my
98% might go to
God.
57.
wow,
telling you.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
But
He was meals every fucking.
But you know what else she brings to the table, too? She did 3.5 years also when I was in, not, she wasn't in, but you're in. When you're married, you're in.
You're with him.
And so she understands the other side of it. So she can get in there and give it to the guys and razz with them. And they all love her because she's real.
Right.
And they know that. And they know she's not going to cut them any.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're picking up after yourself.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're going to pick up after
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. You get on that. You
You
get.
can take care of business.
I'm not your mother. Get on that. You.
It's good.
and you provide this for the families also, correct?
Yeah,
Both
we
our
do.
families.
Yep, we do. We do disabled vets, disabled first responders, their families, and then Gold Star families, you know, and something really cool. I'm working with our state representative. I'm working with Dan Muser. We're trying to put a program forward. Here's what bothers me. So we've got Gold Star families, the remaining families of those who've lost their life in service in the military. And there's all kinds of care and all kinds of stuff available for them. And then we have all this men and women, the first responders, all these families of remaining men and women, remaining families of those who lost their life as law enforcement or as firemen. And there's nothing for them
No, there isn't.
because there's no name. So we're working right now at the national level to try and get the name Gold Shield Families. Because what I'm trying to get these guys in government to understand is if there's a name, nonprofits will pop up everywhere to support it.
But when there's no name, there's no momentum. There's nothing to
Right.
do. And
Right.
you get a well-intended.
You got to put the flag in the ground.
Exactly.
This is what we are.
Because
you-
right now you get a spaghetti dinner,
Yes.
that raises
And
$300.
You got
And
enough.
I'm thankful for it.
Yes, I've had enough spaghetti. I know. Yeah,
But it doesn't sustain anything.
No.
So we're working on this to get the name Gold Shield Families nationally recognized. And once it's nationally recognized, we'll give those men and those remaining families, we'll give them the support they need
that's
for the care that they need ongoing, for the rest of their lives.
And
So,
do you have any law enforcement support for this?
yeah, we do. We actually, that's a funny story. So the first 2 years, I couldn't figure out because we were a veteran and first responder. With the veteran, it's easy because you get out, you have a VA rating. You know
Right.
what I mean? There's a system in place. You know what it is. It's not hidden. Everybody talks about it. It's fairly simple. But with our first responders, and in particular with our firemen and women and our law enforcement, I couldn't understand. I was like, why are we only like 5% first responder? Why aren't they coming? And then one of my buddies, a Pennsylvania State police officer, called me and said, "Come on, let's go grab a bite to eat." And he said, "You want to know why we're not coming? Because if we say we're struggling with PTSD or with anything else, we're labeled and our job is now in jeopardy." And so I had to change all the paperwork and everything we do for the first responders so that there's nothing at all that documents anything that can endanger their livelihood, their job, their anything.
That's exactly.
And then it turned completely. Yeah, it changed completely. Now their chiefs just call and, "Hey, Matt, one of my guys is coming up." And that's all I need to know. I don't need to
Wow.
know anything else.
Wait a minute. Hold on here. You just hit a nerve. So I used to go to the phone. Okay, you know what I'm talking about because that's what they would do with cops. They would send you to the phone. So you're telling me now, just to be clear, I don't want to, just make believe. New York City Police Chief says, "Listen, Matt, I got 3 guys that they're really fucked up. They were in a shooting. One's drinking too much. His wife's calling up. He's not making it home. They agreed to go. Would you take them? Is that how you?" So no,
Right now.
So right. Okay. Just because I'm asking that there's many reasons why. The next reason is these guys have medical coverage. Do you bridge with their medical coverage? You do it. You do
Let
it.
me tell you why.
Yeah.
There's a good reason why. Is if I do anything medical, everything we do falls under HIPAA.
Right.
And I don't want to fall under HIPAA for anything. So
Yeah.
when medical care, or if I need a psychologist or a psychiatrist, we have other organizations that I call in and we send people out to.
Okay.
But here's what I've recognized, man. Most of our battles and most of the battles that our men and women face because of trauma,
Yeah.
the answers aren't difficult.
No. I know.
They aren't. The situation's difficult,
Right.
but the answers aren't difficult.
Love.
And
Love. I call it love.
it's it.
Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah. Everybody,
Guy needs a hug.
and you know what? Here's the reality. We're really clear on accountability. Like I'll tell guys, man, listen, there's me drinking.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
I know you're drinking, but you're not doing it here. And if you are, I will ask you to leave.
Right.
So you choose whether you want the help we're giving or not. It's your choice.
Right.
And
This is fucking crazy. This is
but they
It's
respect
good.
it because
Oh, yeah.
know.
Look, it's not going to fuck it up for themselves. They're going to fuck it up for everybody else.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable. I'm going to tell you a quick story before we go. I went to the rehab upstate. 3 times? No, I can't remember. Anyway, but while there, I got in trouble. Banging a all right? I tell the truth, eh? Cutest thing I've ever in my life. Oh boy, what happened? I had it off. I fell asleep in the bed. I fell asleep in her bed, snoring. I think I woke the people upstairs who run the place. Matt and Margaret. Are you familiar with Matt and Margaret from New Directions, upstate New
I'm
York?
not. No, but I'd like to meet them.
Yeah, there must be. It was 40 years ago when I went, so he was probably 60 then, 55. So I think the Lord has him. But I'm certain that their business is still in operation. Anyway, the PD went up there, and then I see them looking at me. They want to fucking kill me.
they were going to close the place down because I broke the rule. Okay. Now I didn't know this. They squashed it. They said, we'll straighten this out. I finished my time in the rehab, went home. I walk into, because now you go to the counseling section. You're familiar with some of these things, right? Now I go back to the counseling section in the PD. I know I'm just cold as nonstop. And so I go back to the counseling session and they're looking at me like this now. Now they're not upstate. They're in the, they go, you fucking asshole. I go, what? They go, you're banging that. I go, how do you know? He says, what do you mean, how do we know? They told us. I said, it's supposed to be confidential, everything up there. He goes, we're part of the confidential crew. I said, motherfucker.
Yeah, but it's that serious, though. It is. You know what I mean? Like the question I
It's
get
not
all
a
the
good
time.
thing what I did. And listen, they talked about it for years, okay? Another thing. I got thrown under the bus for years.
But really, everybody talks to me about, you're giving men and women firearms. And I get that question all the time.
Well, look what
People with
happened.
PTSD and firearms. I said, listen, here's what you got to understand. My staff is trained in an elite fashion. We manage that firearm from beginning to end until that firearm is sitting out the window of a blind on the rail of a tree stand until it's ready to go. It is in our possession. After it is fired, it is in our possession. Like we manage all of that,
Yeah, you don't want to
But we also,
information.
yeah, our vetting system tells us a lot. You know what I mean? We're bringing people who genuinely need what we have because of our vetting system.
Well, that was one of my questions. How do you vet people, and how do you select candidates to come out?
So people can come every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. You can just come. Like that's open and you can come, and it's just like any other business. You can come in, sign in, walk in, and we'll tell you what's going on. For our extended stays, like our hunts, that's an application process on our website.
Okay.
And we've just learned what to ask. I already knew what to ask on the hunting side because that's what I've done for a living. But learned what to ask to get the right people who have the right needs to be the people we select. And it's really been really awesome to see.
Great. Now, I one other question for you. What about hunting permits and license?
Yeah, everything's licensed. So you have to be licensed. So
So
we
prior to, if let's say, I was a wounded vet, I'd have to go get my hunting license in PA before I can attend.
once you're selected, we send you an email. Jamie sends you an email with everything in it, links, everything. Get your license here. This is the license you're getting. These are the dates you're hunting. These are the species you're hunting. Like it's all in there. Everything
Great.
step by step, And we've had people hunt literally from 47 states, from all over the country, And lately it's been really cool. We've had a real strong run of NYPD and FDNY, 9/11 guys, and it's been really cool to get to know these men and women who have sacrificed in very unique and special ways, with their service. And I'm not putting those two organizations above others, but I'm telling you this, those that went through 9/11 in a firsthand basis, like my heart breaks. I mean, breaks for what they went through before, during, and after that entire, attack on this great land. It's horrific what they experienced and what they're still going through.
Can you imagine what those guys in LA are going through right now?
I was watching the news the last few days thinking, this is, yes, it's not a terrorist attack, but they're going through the exact same trauma, what they're seeing, what they're exposed to. Oh, I mean, not the exact same, two different scenarios, but you understand what I'm saying.
Chemicals that they're inhaling.
The whole mental capacity, watching people burn, watching their homes burn, animals being destroyed, just the environment being destroyed.
It's terrible. So we have vets and first responders that watch this program. If a loved one or a vet or first responder themselves wanted to be a candidate or come for extended stay, what would their process be? Where would they go?
So go onto our website, campfreedompa.org. So campfreedompa is in Pennsylvania.org. And you'll see up on the right-hand corner of there, you'll see hunt applications, fishing applications, and you can go and do those two for now. We're going to continue to build out all of our extended stays So that literally we'll have extended stays around hiking and biking and fishing and walking and
That's
running
sweet.
and
That's sweet.
all of it,
That's- That's really cool.
And it is. And it has, 4 days, when you're living with somebody for 4 days, I always say it's this exponential impact. You know? You just get to know each other at a unique level very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yes.
And you build a friendship that just lasts instantly.
Yes.
You
My
know?
brother does a lot of hunting, like sort of like you talk about, and he still has friends from his first hunt, 10 years ago. And maybe only hunted once or twice together, but they're still buddies because, like, what you said, the environment, the whole camaraderie.
So you mentioned something. You said when the questionnaires, the first day, the fourth day, and then you said 6 months later. So are you reaching back out to people months later to see how they're doing?
Oh yeah. Like our goal is this. For example, everybody that comes on an extended stay has a Camp Freedom ambassador assigned to them. So that ambassador is a volunteer or a former guest who goes through our training, and they make a commitment to stay in touch for a minimum of 1 full year. And so we're not a one-off. I don't want somebody to come on a hunt and then that's all they get.
Right.
Like that doesn't fix anything.
No.
It's got to be that continued relationship and care. It's just the start point. It's the entry point. That's all it is for us.
Man, God bless you, brother. You're doing a great
This
thing.
is amazing.
It's really amazing.
I thought I was going to be bored. I thought I was going to be bored. Camp Freedom. Everybody has some kind of thing going on. This is
You're right.
This is amazing. This
It's
is
legit.
really. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's legit. Tommy undersold you too. I'm not going to throw Tommy under the bus. See, I know a guy does some camping up there, and
This is
when
is
you really
incredible.
get into it, man, it's amazing. With Tommy has
Life-changing.
good things for you.
Life changing.
A lot of good things from Tommy. Yeah, Tommy's a good dude, and he was a guest on our show. He had a lot of nice things to say about you. I'm glad he set us up. One thing I want to do, I want to introduce you to the FOP down here in Philadelphia. It's one of the larger FOPs in the country, and I think they can help with the Gold Shield family. I think they would be all about
I
it.
think I want to introduce him with Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so
I want to put that together.
yeah, the
today.
Blue magazine, they have a foundation. It's what's the foundation?
Moment of silence.
Moment of Silence, where they help prevent suicide, police suicides. So
First responders, but yes.
yeah, first responders. So yeah, I want to definitely link you guys up too. I think there's a lot of relationships
I'm going
and a lot of good that can
contact him
come.
right after the show because
Yeah.
I'm going to see him right now. So
Yeah, I love relationships. I love working together and collaborating. 'Cause here's what I know. What we do, we try and do the best we can,
Yeah.
but we do this much. So we got to have partnerships with others.
yes,
Like,
yes.
well, you're saying about the FOB, I'll come
Synergy,
down.
the synergy. It's the whole energy, like you said. You want to get to this place where you have the flag in the ground, so people say, "Oh, I know the gold shield."
Yeah, Gold Shield
Gold
family.
Shield. Yeah. So at the end of the month, I want to write a check to somebody. Whether it's Towers or the 9/11 Towers.
Yeah.
Oh, the Gold Shield. Let me write them a check this month. People write a $40 check, $50 check. You get
Oh, it
1,000.
all matters.
You get 1,000 people doing that in a month. You're doing good.
It all matters.
The FOP does a good job with the families, but like anything else, out of sight, out of mind. Our FOP is really good, but FOPs around the country are not as big or not as well funded. And like you said, the families of fallen officers, it just, you know what I mean? Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And I'll come down, man. You get me an opportunity, I'll come down and share with them what we're doing.
Good.
Because I guarantee you, men in that room, women in that room, also will want to capitalize on what we're doing for themselves.
Yeah, we lost a lot of cops. And I've lost cops that I worked with in my district that were killed in the line of duty. So,
Yeah.
no,
We got.
definitely.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
Yep, this is great stuff. Matt, thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. man.
CampFreedomPA.org, correct?
Yep,
Camp-
camfreedom.org.
You take
Is it-
donations.
It's authored.
Great. Donate, please help out. You said you can fund a hunt or fund a guest. How does that work?
You can fund a hunt for yourself. You can fund a hunt for an American hero. You can do a monthly $9.99 to $29.99. There's all kinds of options.
Right.
You
What-
can name stuff.
What's it cost to fund somebody if I want to fund a wounded vet?
If you want to fund a hunt, it costs $6,000 to fund a
Okay.
hunt for a veteran first responder. But it's a world-class hunt.
Right.
I get to see hunts all over the world. It truly is world-class.
And you just say you can name something too? What's that?
We do naming rights. You can name food plots. You can name lodge, our new lodge. You can name our we just cut 1,800 yards. We have the 1776 Lancer Systems Liberty Range. I got a Liberty Bell at 1,776 yards, man. And we're going to build a building, 3 stories, 1 story on the other side. Our law enforcement's driving all over the place to go and train. Now they're training here at camp. I mean, it's amazing what we got going on.
That's good.
That's
shit.
great. Yeah, we're going to set you up with the FOP down here and with the Blue Magazine. I think that'll be a good symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, there's definitely, and they're so close, really. I'm going straight over here, then you're only an hour from them in Scranton area. Yeah.
We're 20 minutes from Scranton and 2.5 hours from Philly only.
Yeah.
It's nothing. You know?
Yep.
So do you use Dunder Mifflin paper?
We do. We do. I always tell Jamie he's the assistant to the executive director.
Matt, thank you so much. Everybody else, I want to thank you for listening. This was a great program today. Good Cop, Bad Cop podcast. Please go to campfreedompa.org. Donate, help Matt out, help out a wounded vet and first responder. Check out goodcopbadcoppodcast.com. You can get our gear. I took my hat off because it's hot in here. Check out our socials. Take us to YouTube, Spotify. We're on Apple Podcast now. Please like, subscribe, leave us a comment. It helps us out. And I'd like to thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks.
This episode is sponsored by AR Law, PA State Rep Martina White, Biondo Creative, Morrow Flooring, and Pops McCann Whiskey.